Good morning, children. Today in this video we will discuss the chapter Flames in the Forest by Ruskin Bond. Children, in this chapter we will read a story about two boys caught in a forest fire. Children, wildfires or forest fires are a kind of natural disaster. The cause can be either man-made or natural. Forest fires can burn acres of land and consume everything on its path in no time. Children, now let's read the story. As Romy was about to mount his bicycle, he saw smoke rising from behind the distant line of trees. "It looks like a forest fire," said Prem, his friend. "It's well to the east," said Romy, "nowhere near the road." "There's a strong wind," said Prem, looking at the dry leaves swirling across the road. It was the middle of May and it hadn't rained for several weeks. The grass was brown, the tree leaves covered with dust. Even though it was 6 in the evening, the boys' shirts were damp with sweat. "It will be dark soon," said Prem. "You'd better spend the night at my house." "No, my father isn't keeping well. The doctor has given me some pills for him. It will take me only 40 minutes to ride through the forest." His village lay 7 miles away on the other side of the forest. Romy rode swiftly out of the village. Ahead of him, the smoke rose from the burning forest, and the sky glowed red. He soon left the village far behind. It was a rough, dusty road which cut straight through the forest. Tall trees grew on either side, cutting off the last of the daylight, but the spreading glow of the fire on the right lit up the road, and the giant tree shadows danced before the boy on the bicycle. It was alive with wild creatures fleeing the forest fire. The first animal that Romy saw was a hare, leaping across the road in front of him. It was followed by several more hares. Then a band of monkeys streamed across, chattering excitedly. The fire was coming closer. Romy pedaled harder. Suddenly, from the side of the road, several pheasants rose in the air, and with a whoosh flew low across the path, just in front of the oncoming bicycle. Taken by surprise, Romy fell off. He picked himself up and mounted the bicycle again. He rode a bit slower now, because birds and animals kept coming out of the bushes. Small birds too were streaming across the road. Parrots, jungle crows, owls, magpies, and the air was filled with their cries. So children, Romy somehow left the village, but on the way he could see the forest fire growing bigger and bigger. He could also see several animals coming out of the forest to save their lives. Now let's see what happened next in the story. "Everyone is on the move," thought Romy. "It must be a really big fire." The flames were reaching out from behind the trees on his right. He could hear the crackling as the dry leaves caught fire. The air was hot on his face. Leaves, still alight or turning to cinders, floated past. A herd of deer crossed the road. For the first time, Romy felt afraid. From ahead came a faint clanging sound. The clanging came nearer, and Romy discovered that it was a small boy running along the forest path. Two cans clattering at his side. Teju called Romy, recognizing the boy. "What are you doing here?" "Trying to get home," said Teju, panting along beside the bicycle. "Jump on," said Romy, stopping for him. Teju was only 8 or 9, a couple of years younger than Romy. He got up on the crossbar of the bicycle and Romy moved on again. "Keep beating your milk cans," said Romy. "The animals will know we are coming." "I never knew there were so many animals in the jungle," said Teju. "I saw a python in the middle of the road. It stretched right across." The fire was coming much closer now. Flames shot up from the dry grass and ran up the trunks of trees and along the branches. Smoke billowed out above the forest. So in the forest, Romy met Teju with his 2 milk cans. Teju got up on the crossbar of the bicycle and Romy moved on again. They were talking about several animals coming out of the forest. So children, let me stop here for today. We will discuss the remaining part of the chapter in our next class. Until then, stay home and stay safe.